Hi, this is Defense Attorney John Teakell. I'm here to speak to you about what to do if you're involved in a shooting. If you shoot someone in self-defense or not, especially if it's in self-defense, you should be concerned even then as to what would happen as far as law enforcement, the district attorney, and any potential prosecutions that could result from that. Even if it's self-defense and it's pretty clear that's what the case was, you cannot count on anyone in a situation like this to help you or be your advocate except for your attorney. Understand this, that even if it appears that it's self-defense, the district attorney, that is the prosecutor, will by habit and as a matter of course refer this to the grand jury. Now we'll speak about that again in a moment, but in summary, they will refer it to the grand jury, that is the body who decides whether or not there's probable cause to institute formal charges on a felony case in state court. If you shoot and wound someone, likely you'll be looked at and it would be referred to the grand jury as an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge. If you shoot and kill someone, likely then the charge would be listed as manslaughter, and potentially, if the grand jury votes to indict as opposed to refusing to indict, then you could be charged with either one of those cases, those crimes, depending on what the outcome is and what the facts are and who advocates for you. Now, law enforcement at the scene, once uniformed officers arrive at the scene, whether it's in your home where someone breaks in and you shoot them, or it's out in public somewhere, law enforcement will come to you. They're going to want a detailed statement as to what's happened. Now, it's natural for a lot of people, or most everyone, to want to just say, well, I just want to tell them what happened and be upfront and tell them my side of the story. Well, some of the problems that you would encounter in a situation like that are, if you've just shot someone, you're not going to be yourself. Your heart's still going to be racing. You'll probably still have adrenaline pumping. You will not be in a situation where you can give a full coherent statement like you would be if you were calm and normally yourself. You are going to probably later determine that you left out some information, wish you would have said something more or worded something differently. Plus, if you find later that the report does not reflect what you said, or they say you left something out but you claim that you said it, it's not going to be in the report, and it's your word versus a law enforcement officer or officers. I would emphasize this again, although you want to be cooperative at the scene, do not give a statement. Talk to your attorney, contact an attorney first for a variety of reasons. We could talk at length about that, but that's not the purpose of this video. It's just to emphasize that you should contact an attorney. And in the best scenario, the ultimate situation is when you have an attorney on retainer in case something like this occurs, and hopefully you'll never have to deal with something like this. Now, after the law enforcement at the scene, if there's a shooting and you're the shooter, a detective will then sometime thereafter, who's assigned to the case, contact you again and want you to give a statement, even if you'd given one before. And again, I advise you not to give a statement to the uniformed officers at the scene or the detective, but again, defer and refer them to your attorney. And again, the progression is basically going to be law enforcement at the scene, a detective, then you or your attorney would have to deal with the district attorney's office, the prosecutor, because even if it appears to be a clear-cut of situation of self-defense, in this day and time, they're going to refer things to the grand jury. In other words, more and more prosecutors are referring things to the grand jury instead of making the decision themselves to accept the charge or decline it. That way they can put it off on the grand jury if, say, the person who was wounded or killed has family who questions what's going on and why charges weren't implemented. They can say, we ran it by the grand jury. We presented evidence to the grand jury, and here's what they did. The do's in a situation like this, what you should do would be to stay at the scene. Don't flee. Don't give anybody any chance to allege that you took off and fled the scene to insist or make it look like you were guilty or concerned about something you did wrong. Stay at the scene. leave the evidence as it is, contact your attorney, and again, the best situation is to have an attorney who is already on retainer in case something like this happens. Also, be polite with law enforcement officers. Be cooperative, but again, do not give a statement. Politely refer them to your attorney. If you do not have one, tell them you need to speak with an attorney before you speak with them further. Again, some people question whether you should have an attorney on retainer for a situation like this because they may think, well, he's just going to make a couple of calls, and why should I retain an attorney up front year-round just for something like this? Well, those people don't understand the rigorous situation, the rigorous process that you would go through. That is law enforcement and more law enforcement, the district attorney's office, and when you could have your attorney try to start from the beginning to try to dissuade prosecution and or tone down anything that potentially could be given to the grand jury. Again, you're going to need an advocate. If it does go to the grand jury, even if it seems to be pretty clear that you were justified in the shooting, you're still not going to need an advocate, an attorney to come up with a grand jury packet to have things to present to the grand jury to try to dissuade them from instituting a charge against you, but rather convince them that the shooting was self-defense and or otherwise justified. Your attorney would be your advocate in this situation. And again, this is Attorney John Teakell. If you need someone like this or you want to discuss the possibility of being on retainer in case something like this does happen, call me. I'll be glad to help you with it and guide you through it. Thank you.